we are going to talk about the signifier and signified things. We will discuss a lot of things in terms of what the first, the signifier and signified thing, and then we will discuss about denotations and connotations, and then we will discuss about the encoding and decoding. Okay. First, we need to understand what is meant by signifier and signified. Okay. And for this reason, we need to understand the term semiotics first. What is meant by semiotics? Semiotics means it's a study of signs. It's a study of signs and symbols. Semiotics refers to, before understanding any semiotics or any study of symbols, we need to understand the deconstruction of media text. Okay. If we talk about any media text in this world, if you want to analyze any sort of media text, you need to go for the deconstruction of media text. You need to deconstruct that particular text. That's how we are going to deconstruct that text. This is all about when you are reading a text. This is all semiotics. Okay. Once you are reading about and once you are analyzing any form of media text, it's all about semiotics. Okay. Okay. So the idea is very simple, that first ever you need to understand that how to deconstruct our media text. We can deconstruct our media text with the help of our technical codes. Like what? There are four sort of technical codes like camera, sound, edit, and mise-en-scene. Okay. These are four basic technical codes. And whenever we want to deconstruct a media text, we just need to deconstruct these four technical codes. Okay. It's a very simple thing. Let's suppose if we talk about, and once we deconstruct those technical codes, we can easily analyze them as semiotics, because these things may become as symbols. And let's suppose if you talk about mise-en-scene, a costume could be a symbol, a sound could be a symbol. Is it fine? So the core idea is deconstruction is a key. You need to understand this thing as a primary things before semiotics. Okay. Let's suppose, let's take an example. You can also deconstruct your project and your design decisions also. Like what you can deconstruct a text, like what let's suppose you can go for the design decisions, like this is a proper methodology to do that thing. Let's suppose I use a red color because I just want to create a signification of what of revolution. Like I use the black and golden just to show the royalty. So this is all about the if you want to talk about any deconstruction of text, the first thing which you need to know about it, you need to identify the different elements. Let's suppose the camera elements, the mise-en-scene elements, the sound and edit elements, which construct the text, and contextual factors which frame it. Okay. Let's suppose contextual factors. What are the contextual factors? Let's suppose if two individuals are talking about a bank, there are several meanings about the bank. It could be the grassy slope, or it could be the river bank, or it could be a place we used to deposit the money. So these are the contextual factors. There are some contextual factors which creates meaning. Like what? I'm sharing one more example. If two individuals start talking about a bank under the mountain, it must be a grassy slope. But if two individuals are talking about a bank in an office, what it means, they're talking about a place where we need to deposit the money. So this is all about the deconstruction of text. Once we use to deconstruct a text, then it is easy for us to create meanings out of it. I hope the things are clear till now. So please write it down. Semiotics refers to the idea. Semiotics refers to the idea how meaning is constructed. How meaning is constructed. Keep it a textual analysis. This is all about textual analysis. Okay. So I'm requesting Nabiha, Umar Khalid, and Zijaja to open your cameras, please. Thank you. Okay, so the idea is very simple. So whenever whenever we are going to talk about any sort of media text, this is all about the basics of. First, we need to deconstruct media text, and then we need to analyze that particular text.
Sir,
Any
what
confusion
comes
till here?
after how meaning is constructed?
Okay, this is semiotics refers to the idea how meaning is constructed through media language and technical codes. Through media language and technical codes. Okay. So is it clear to you? This is all about semiotics. Now, moving forward. The first theory which we are going to discuss it today is all about the theory of signifier and signified. Write it down, please. Theory of signifier and signified by Ferdinand Desoro. Ferdinand Desoro. The theory of signifier and signified by Ferdinand Desoro. Ferdinand spelling of this Ferdinand is very simple. Ferdinand and Desoro. Desau. Okay. Ferdinand Desoro. Ferdinand Desoro हो गया. Theory of signifier and signified by Ferdinand Desoro. According to this theory, there are two levels of meaning. There are two levels of meaning in an object within a media text. There are two levels of meanings in an object within a media text. There are two levels of meanings in an object within a media text. Actually, what we used to call it, the whole theory of the signifier and signifying revolve around these two levels. Okay, so whenever we are going to talk about the Ferdinand's theory of signifier and signified, so let's suppose how to implement in textual analysis. The first question is this. The question is, you can, whenever you are analyzing any symbols, any meanings out of it, symbols like particularly the Mise-en-scene elements like colors and like symbols, like action. You can go for the actions also, which you can say there are multiple levels of meaning. That and they are creating meaning. They are elaborating meaning. So you need to use this Ferdinand theory of.
They're elaborating meanings in the texture analysis.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, one thing, whenever you see something that this particular thing is giving this particular meaning, am I right? Like uniform. Uniform is a very regular thing, but red uniform is going to create this signified meanings. Okay, write it down, please. The first level of meaning is called signifier. The first level of meaning is called signifier. The topic का नाम है. We are discussing about the media language and technical codes. And then we are going to start the theory of signifier and signified. बेटा
सर आप म्यूट पे हैं, आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही.
बिल्कुल, मैंने जानबूझ के मैंने कुछ कंप्लेन की थी शुरू में ना, तो नबिया ने तो ओके हो गया था मामला, लेकिन अब जाजा और उमर खालिद के काउंसलर से खुद पूछेंगे क्या मसला है. दे विल आस्क देम. ठीक है, तो वो वेरीफाई करेंगे. अब काउंसलर का काम है कि वेरीफाई करेंगे बच्चा वाकई सच बोल रहा है झूठ बोल रहा है. ऐसा वेरी सिंपल. The first level is all about the signifier, which is what is there in front of us. Because guys, why I am doing this thing? I am doing this just because of your favor, bro. मैं सिर्फ आपकी फेवर में कर रहा हूँ. ठीक है, I am teaching this thing again and again just because of you guys. ठीक है, you need to show your priorities and you need to show your significance. Okay, the first level of meaning is called signifier. which is what is there in front of us, which is what is there in front of us, what we see, what we are seeing on the frame. That is all about the signifier. Like, let's suppose there is a dialogue about the bank. That is all about signifier element. Am I right? Second, afterward, you can write it afterwards. The second level of the meaning is called signified. The second level of the meaning is called signified. Which is an idea we associate with the signifier.
Sir, this is an idea we associate with
the signifier. The concept it represents. You can say the concept it represents. The concept it represents. Okay, so the signified is all about the contextual factors which are going to create the meaning out of it. Okay, actually, what happened? A lot of time, once we are going to say the sign or symbol we see doesn't make sense without the actual object, or you can say the contextual factors. And once we are going to signify that particular thing with the contextual factors, then it will be easy for us to know about that symbol. Whenever a lot of time, once we are not going to analyze the thing at a signified level, we are not able to analyze it. Okay, write down the bank example out there. For example, write down example. For example, if in a film, for example, if in a film, if in a film, the characters are talking about the bank. The characters are talking about a bank. The characters are talking about a bank. Achha. In a film, the characters are talking about a bank. It is up to the audience to determine. It is up to the audience to determine which bank they mean. Which bank they mean. A grassy slope or a place to deposit your money. Okay. Any confusion till here? Any confusion till here?
No, sir.
अच्छा जी, ठीक हो गया, क्लियर हो गया? अच्छा जी, okay. So if you know about any your own production work, you use multiple props to create some signified meanings. The first thing, let's suppose you can say you are showing a doll in your horror film, but there are some signified meanings attached with that. So that is all about the signifier and signified. When I always prefer, you can write down in this way that the Ferdinand's disorder theory of signifier and signified in this moving image, this object or this symbol is have it some signifier meaning, or you can say the first level of the meaning, like this is a thing, but the context due to contextual factors, the signified stuff of signified meaning is different, like this. I hope the things are clear. Okay. So I hope things are clear to you. Clear? Okay. Next theory. The next theory is the Roland Barthes, R-O-L-A-N-D, Roland Barthes. Write it down. Roland Barthes theory of denotation and connotation. Theory of denotation and connotation. Roland Barthes theory of denotation and connotation. Theory of denotation and connotation. This theory is all about, write it down. This theory is all about how the audience will interpret meaning. This theory is all about how audience will interpret meaning from a particular media text. From a particular media text. From a particular media text. Next point. Achha. Next point likhiye. The denotation is an object placed. The denotation is an object placed within media text. Within media text. It is then up to the audience to draw. It is up to the audience to draw on their own cultural, social and historical knowledge, to interpret its connotations. It means denotation is what we are seeing on the frame, and the connotations is what we are perceiving about this. Okay. Let's suppose if you are having a character like if you are having any character. Listen, clear ho gaya? Okay. So it is actually what we can say this thing. The cultural factors and the social and historical factors may definitely help an individual to create connotations. Sometimes it depends on your connotation, your cultural factor or the historical factors. You want to know the reasoning behind it. That You create a reasoning out of it. Okay. The same theory, I hope you remember about, I have shared the theory of decoding or encoding and decoding. That sometime audience, the media used to, I will share this thing further on, that the media always try to create the dominant ideologies within an individual, encode these ideologies. And they try, you interpret these ideologies in preferred meanings. Like you accept all dominant ideologies. Okay. So I hope the things are clear till connotations. Now, write down the next point. Looking at some images and describing what we see This level of analysis is called denotation. But this level of analysis is called denotation. This level of analysis is called denotation.
Sir, looking at what?
Looking at some images and describing what we see. This level of analysis is called denotation. I hope the things are clear till now. This level of analysis is called denotation. When we are describing what you are seeing. Okay, this is all about denotation. So, and whenever and when you want to connote something, you want to talk about the meanings attached. Okay, so I hope the things are clear till here. Okay, so actually, how to do denotation and connotation? You need to focus on the micro areas, and you can refer yourself to the technical course like camera angles, mise-en-scene, edit. Okay, camera angles, sound, camera angles, movement, shots, and frame composition, sound, edit, mise-en-scene. You need to refer about to the micro areas, and you need to talk about the denotation, and then afterwards you need to talk about the connotation. What it connotes. If they are using low angle, what it connotes. If they are using high angle, what it connotes. Am I right? So this is all about the core element of this thing. Okay. So now write down the next point. In order to analyze the denotation and connotation, in order to analyze the denotation and connotation of a moving image, it is important to think about the micro areas. It is important to think about the micro areas and refer those micro areas to the technical codes. Okay, like if we're talking about denotations of costumes, makeup, this is all about what we are seeing, and we need to analyze to the next level. And I always prefer you to use these theorists' name like Ferdinand's disorder theory of signified and signified. You can use a term that Roland Barthes theory of denotation and connotation. Like you can start your paragraph and display according to Roland Barthes theory of denotation and connotation. The context, the historical and cultural features may lead towards the connotations. In this extract, you can go with that. In this extract, if the denotation is this thing, in this scene, if the denotation is based on a costume like this, okay, so it connotes like this. This is an actual way to write down a very good textual analysis. Okay. Think about the micro areas and referring to the technical codes. Next point. Technical codes involve camera angles, shots, movement and composition, mise-en-scene, sound, and editing. Everything used to connote some particular thing. Am I right? So just try to refer in your answer to theorist name. This will definitely enhance your answering and quality of answer. Okay. Let's suppose, for example, write down the example. For example, if a denotation involves extreme wide shot But denotation involves extreme wide shot, so the connotation would be a character from far away seems removed from the audience, comma, distanced, isolated and alone. Okay, next point, please. If a denotation is, next point, next example. If a denotation is symmetrical framing, similar sort of things. If a denotation is symmetrical framing, then connotation would be like inhabitants are organized. Inhabitants are organized, or you can say, comma, film space has some order. The film space has some order. Okay. Next point, please. Mise-en-scene codes involve set design, props, non-verbal communication, comma, costumes and makeup, full stop. If a non-verbal communication denotes, non-verbal communication denotes a hunched shoulders, or head is hanging down, it connotes that the character is vulnerable, unhappy, or depressed. Any confusion till here? Now, moving forward to the next theory, all about the Strauss-Hall theory of decoding, encoding, and decoding. Write it down. The Strauss-Hall's theory of encoding and decoding. The Strauss-Hall's theory of encoding and decoding. Actually, it's more about it, like the media producer used to encode a message and they just try to influence the audience to accept this message as a preferred meaning. Am I right? They just try that the audience will accept each and everything as a preferred meaning. And those media messages are based on the dominant ideologies, like they may be based on patriarchy, it may be based on the capitalist values, it may be based on the elite class culture. So they just want to infiltrate those ideas, according to Strauss-Hall. The media want to infiltrate all these ideas, you can call it the dominant ideologies, okay? And they just try to influence the audience to interpret all those messages on the basis of their preferred meaning. They just want to emphasize the audience to accept it as it is. Okay, so let's start the things in terms of the Strauss-Hall's theory of encoding and decoding. So if we talk about, you can write it down in a way, this way, please write it down. If something is encoded, it is what is written. It is what is written within a media text. It is what is written within a media text. So stop. An image has been placed in the text by the producer and will challenge or promote dominant ideologies. And will challenge or promote dominant ideologies. So stop. Decoding is when the audience reads into this piece of media, this piece of media, and makes their own interpretation, of what the image means, An audience used to make their own interpretation of the what. Okay, so and the media always try to enforce the audience to accept as it is, to accept what is written, accept as it is. Okay. Next, write the next point, please. All things the media circulates dominant ideas. All things the media circulates dominant ideas. And his theory says that producers place dominant ideas in different media. First stop, producers cleverly encoded their views and opinions. Producers cleverly encoded their opinions and views in media text, with the intention of the audience, interpret this, with preferred or intended meaning. They just want to emphasize the audience to accept what is written, what is there. The media enforce the audience to accept what it is. Okay. So write it down. The next point, please. According to Stuart Hall, S-T-U-A-R-T, according to Stuart Hall, there are three ways the audience decodes media text. Colon, and then write the first way. The audience fully accept the preferred meaning. Showing their agreement with dominant values. Showing their agreement with the dominant values. Showing their agreement with the dominant values. Full stop. Next way. The audience take a negotiated position. Means they only agree with some part of preferred meaning, We talk about the third way, you can write it down. The third way, the audience takes an oppositional position. The audience takes an oppositional position. They have comma. They understand the preferred meaning. They understand the preferred meaning, but decide to make their own interpretations. They are against the preferred meaning actually, but decide to make their own interpretations. Okay, so it could be possible that encoding is all about the denotations, and you can create your own meanings. As the audience are active individuals, whenever you are analyzing any media text, you can understand some oppositional meanings also, and you can refer this thing that and always whenever you are seeing any sort of patriarchy in the video, whenever seeing any class element in the video, whenever seeing any ethnocentric stuff in the videos, racism, sexism, you are seeing anything like that. So whenever you are seeing like this, these things, you are saying these things are the dominant ideologies. This may interpret differently by the audience, or they can go with the negotiated way. At some extent, they are agree, but it's not they are not agree with all the things, and they may agree with the preferred meaning. The people, once the people are going to accept these things as it is, it may create a negative impact. Sorry, it may create the audience will accept it as it is, the passive audience. Okay. So we have discussed the three theories today. We have discussed the signifier and signified theory given by the Ferdinand de Saussure, and we discussed about the theory encoding and decoding by Short Hall, and we discussed about the theory proposed by the Roland Barthes related to the denotation and connotations. I hope the things are clear till now, and is any questions you can ask me. I'm here to answer your queries. Any question, queries? Any problem? Any problem? Any queries? So
Clear, sir.
So thank you so much for being here, and try to use these theories. Their theories in your textual analysis. This will enhance your answer, and this will definitely give you a good impact in your exams. Have a very good day. Take care, and Allah Hafiz.